Hello, hello, and welcome. I am so glad you are here. Whether you're listening at home, at work, or on the go, I am always so grateful that you choose to spend a few minutes with me. So happy fall. Here we are in the middle of it, coming into October. I cannot believe we are already here. It's hard to think we have 3 months left in the year. It's gone very fast. And so I hope that you are having a fantastic time as well throughout the year. I know we're on a journey to have a truly happy year, not just a happy new year in the beginning, but that we're doing little things every day, every week, every month that's helping us have a happier day, week, and month better than it was the time before. So I am here. I have let life get in the way of doing one of these episodes in a while. I am so sorry for that. So I am combining September and October into this one episode. And today I would like to talk about forgiveness and resilience. So last month, as you remember, we talked about being a piglet and being a support person to someone who needs it, but also finding your own support system in a time of need that you have. So that got me thinking about as we go into the fall and the holiday season, we're probably going to be put into a lot of different situations, some of which we're going to love and can't wait to be in, and others that we may pretty much be forced into because of different loved ones or different family members or just different things that we have going on that make us be in those situations. So then I was like, okay, let's think about how do you just persevere? How do you put things in the past, let them be in the past, whatever has happened to you in those situations or around those people, just let that go and be in the moment of what the fall and the holiday season bring and then forgive whoever it needs to. Maybe it's you. Maybe you have to forgive yourself for some things. That's always possible. So that got me thinking about forgiveness and how do we just get stronger through those moments that we need to work through and that we're leaning on God and that we're leaning on our piglets and we're leaning on other people to help us get through. So as I was thinking about this topic and doing my research, I came across an article in Psychology Today on that very topic, resilience and forgiveness. And so I want to go through this. It's an interview that they did with Dr. Everett Worthington. He's also an author. So I highly recommend you check him out to see all of the books and things and all the different studies and research that he's completed. But they were asking him about the different types of forgiveness and how does it help us live a better, resilient life. So I want to share that, just a few takeaways I have from that. And then we'll talk through some rules of life and then what my challenge is for you this month. And then we'll wrap it up. So in this interview, Dr. Everett was asked, how do you personally define forgiveness? And he came with two different types of forgiveness. The first type he describes as a decisional forgiveness. So that is a decision to treat another person as valued and valuable. But even though you're deciding to treat them differently, you still may feel bitter, resentful, hostile, maybe even feel hatred or anger towards that person, or maybe even be fearful of being hurt again. If that's the case, then you're in an emotional unforgiving state. So that led him to say, then the second type of forgiveness is emotional forgiveness. And he defined that as a gradual replacement of those emotions until you've completely eliminated the negative feelings because you've worked through empathy, sympathy, compassion, and even love for that person. So he went on to explain it in different ways. Let's say you were hurt by a stranger. He referenced that maybe it's someone who robbed us or someone we don't want to ever have interaction with again. Getting rid of those negative emotions would be a complete emotional forgiveness. And then when the person who hurt us is a valued person to us, it could be a friend, a family member, our spouse, we typically will continue to add positive emotions into our interactions with that person. So there is still an emotional forgiveness, and it just happens a little bit quicker and more of a net positive forgiveness because we're remembering the happier times and we're going to insert those positive thoughts and emotions as we work through our forgiveness for that person. So then he was asked, how can practicing forgiveness help us live more resiliently? And this was such a good question to me because I'm going through some things too, right? All of us have something we're going through. And how do you rise above and how do you tackle the challenge? And how do you just trust and have faith that God will provide for you what his plan is for you? And remember, it may not be what you want and it may not be on the timeline you want, but God is so good and he's so faithful and he's not going to let you down. So this question was very important. How can you practice forgiveness, but also live more resiliently? And his answer was that forgiveness is often difficult. And when we are tested and rise through the challenge, it does strengthen us. That strengthening is what helps us bounce back when we're faced with any kind of traumatic situation or some kind of disaster, some kind of really difficult, rough patch that we're going through. And that forgiveness is what helps us become more resilient. And then he was asked, what are some ways we can cultivate forgiveness when facing hardships? And one thing he said is, we can will ourselves to make the decision to act differently towards that offender. So maybe you want to create peace. You're tired of conflict. Or maybe you just don't like conflict at all. And so you want to act different and you want to force that peacefulness. But remember, you could still make that decision, but you may still have that emotional unforgiveness that you have to work through. So his recommendation is you've got to spend time trying to empathize, sympathize, and experience compassion towards that person who harmed us. Think about what could have led them to do whatever it was they did. Put yourself in their shoes. Try to see it from another perspective and just be open-minded and then really turn to God's word and whatever journaling, whatever outlet you have, like find your Piglet. Have those conversations, really work through your emotions so that you can get rid of all that negativity and truly work to that forgiving space where there is true deep peace and it's not just on the surface. He calls it a Reach Forgiveness workbook. It's absolutely free. I wanted to make sure I tell you about it. You can download it at his website. It's www.evworthington-forgiveness.com. So check that out, download the workbook and help yourself work through some of these forgiveness strategies. The last question I'll go through in this interview was, he was asked, what advice do you have on how we might support a friend or a loved one who is struggling with forgiveness? And what he says here is so powerful that just remember, forgiveness is a choice that friend may or may not make. It is up to that person to decide if they want to forgive someone. So you may think it's best for that person to forgive, and you may want to have those conversations and hope that you lead them there. But remember, you can't really force it because it is their decision and their choice. So again, be their Piglet, to be there for them, help them work through it, answer questions, ask them questions, lead them to the word. Just have those different moments where you can be the help that they might need. Tell stories too to that person of how you struggled and how you got through it and what worked for you and what didn't work for you, and just be open and honest and be a friend. So check it out. If you want to look at all the details of the interview, again, that's on Psychology Today. The article was written by Jamie Atten, and it was with Dr. Everett Worthington. And then as I was also looking through this, I came across the 7 rules of life. And I want to go through these really quickly because they're definitely impactful. So write these down or store them in your memory for later. So rule number 1 is to let it go. Never ruin a good day by thinking about a bad yesterday. And boy, if that's not like something that really goes along with our year and what our mission is to have a better day, a happier day than the day before, you got to let things go and you have to just move past it and focus on the here and the now and make choices of what's this going to be like? How is this going to be better and different and happier for you? Rule number 2 is ignore them. Don't listen to other people. Live a life that's empowering to you. We've talked about that this year too. How do you know what drives you and what truly makes you happy? Like, what's your joy? Remember your why. Why do you wake up every day and do whatever it is that you do? Something's driving you to that. So remember that, stay true to that, and ignore anyone else, especially anyone who's trying to bring you down and having them try to get you to do something for them instead of what it is that you want to do with your life. Okay, rule number 3, give it time, because time heals everything. So work through your emotions, let it go, get it out, do your journaling, do your scripture, do your meditation, whatever it is that works for you. Just give it time to let things go, to let your emotions work through and feel. It will get better, and give it time to get better. All right, rule number 4, don't compare. The only person you should try to beat is the person you were yesterday. I'll talk more about this in another episode because it's a very important lesson and rule, but you've heard me say it before. You have to look at yourself every day in the mirror and you have to decide, are you happy with that person or not? And if you're not, then do something about it. You own that. You make that choice to be better. So don't compare yourself to someone else and what they have or what they did. Just think about how can you be the better self and be that better version of you. Rule number 5, stay calm. It is okay not to have everything figured out, and know that in time you will get there. Not everyone is going to be able to master one thing the first time they try it, right? So just know that whatever it is you're weathering, whatever it is you're trying to master, you will get there. It will happen. Stay faithful and stay calm and just be consistent and work towards it. Rule number 6, it's on you. Only you are in charge of your happiness. That's also the theme of our year, right? You decide how you treat every second of every day. You don't control what happens to you, but you control your reactions and you control how you choose to be in those moments and how you choose to treat people, how you choose to treat yourself. And again, maybe forgiveness is you forgiving yourself for something. So take time to really reflect on that and think about how can you choose your own happiness. And then rule number 7 is to smile. Life is short. Enjoy it while you have it. I think we all know how short life can be and how quickly we may not have it anymore, or that our loved ones may not have their lives anymore. So embrace every moment, every chance you get to be in the moment. Tell those around you that you love them, that you appreciate them, and that you can't wait to see them again and to spend the upcoming holidays with them, as crazy and hectic as it might be. You're not going to get a lot more chances. So enjoy those. Okay, my challenge for you for the month, talking about happiness, pick a person and for the next 30 days, pray for their happiness. You don't tell them you're doing this. You don't say, oh, hey, Jen, I've got you on my prayer list for the month. You don't know what someone might be going through. So whoever pops in your mind, just be consistent and every day say a little prayer that they will find true happiness. And it could come quickly or not. You may know it comes. You may never know if it comes, but it will help uplift you knowing that you're praying for someone else to have happiness. And then that will help you also find happiness in your life. So that's what I have for you today for this month. I hope that you do this challenge. I hope that you even look back at the previous months, previous episodes this year, and take away all those challenges so that you're truly working towards that happy year that we want to do. You only have about 3 months left. Now they're already into October. You kind of have about 2.5 months left before that year is over to truly reflect on that I have a happy year, a happier year than I did prior. So I hope you enjoyed these lessons, these notes. I'm always happy to hear from you if you want to drop a comment or drop a question. would love to chat with you and hear more about what's working for you. So until we see each other again, take care and may God bless you.